Welcome to Vacation Station, hosted by Lisa and Nancy, editors of big-blend-magazines.com.
You just gotta get here is the new tourism slogan for Greeley and the communities through Weld County in northern Colorado. And if you visit the region's two main travel websites, you'll see why. Go to discoverweld.com and also visit greeley.org. And we're very excited to talk about this region. Nancy and I, we need to go.
I know. I was looking at the websites. I'm like, how come we haven't been?
We need to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a destination with, Rocky Mountain National Park, and also there's another national park unit. We always talk about that here on Big Blend Radio, that it's not always national parks, but there's the Pawnee-National Grasslands. And so that's, very unique to have a national grassland in your backyard.
Yeah.
So you got two major National Park Service units in your backyard, and you're near Wyoming, so you can hop the border to Yellowstone.
That's right.
Exactly. Sounds good to me, everyone. So on today's Big Blend Radio Vacation Station show, we have two special guests joining us to talk about all the outdoor activities like bird watching, the historic sites, the cultural attractions. The craft brewery is very important because if you go hiking, you need beer at the end.
You need time for that.
Yes, and they have all kinds of festivals, blues, jazz, you name it. So our two special guests, I'm going to bring Jennifer Finch on first. She is the Weld County Communications Director, and so her website, again, is discoverweld.com. Jennifer, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having us on today.
We're excited about this. I never even realized that, hey, two national park units in your backyard. You're up in the high prairie, and so centrally located. You're not that far from Denver either, right? The whole region.
No, we're not. Weld County is the third largest county in Colorado, and as you said, we're an hour away from Rocky Mountain National Park, and we have the Pawnee-National Grasslands right here in our county. But our southern border of Weld County is about 20 minutes north of Denver, and then we extend all the way up to the Wyoming state line.
Do you get a lot of people coming over from Denver, like moving up into your county? As you say that you're the third largest, or fastest growing and largest county. Do you get more people saying, okay, we want to get away from the big cities and get out? Because I know you have a lot of smaller communities too.
Yeah, we have 32 communities, 32 municipalities in Weld County. And yes, we are seeing a lot of growth come up from the metro area. In fact, they say there's been stories that Weld County, we're ranked third nationwide for job growth. The Greeley metropolitan area is ranking third fastest for population growth. So the secret is out. Weld County and Greeley and all our municipalities are the place to be, and there's a lot of wonderful things happening here, and it's an exciting time.
It is exciting, and I'm so glad we found out about you. We've also got Amy Dugan joining us. She is the director for Visit Greeley, which is part of the Greeley Chamber of Commerce, the tourism entity of that side. And I love this because we always like to talk about the value of tourism to a community and as a really viable industry. And obviously that's what they're doing over in Greeley. And you can go to visitgreeley.org. Amy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much. So glad to be here. Jennifer and I are excited to be on your show and talk about all things Weld County and Greeley.
Yeah, this is beautiful. I mean, you're out near, you've got the Rocky Mountains. So, from your desk or, from your home or your business, do you look out and get to see big mountains like the Rocky Mountains? Can you see them where you are?
Exactly. So from my deck, I can actually see Long's Peak. On a really pretty day, we can see all the way down to Pikes Peak, all the way down in the spring. So our view of the Front Range is absolutely amazing. We're far enough out that we can get that gorgeous panoramic view. So snow-capped peaks, that's what I grew up with, and that's why I'm still in Greeley.
Oh, that's awesome. And I know you're the county seat. How many people live in Greeley?
So Greeley is up to 106,000. We have grown, as Jennifer was referring, leaps and bounds over the last 10 years. We're about 10 miles off of I-25, so we have easy access. We have people who are moving here so that they can work in Denver or some of our surrounding towns, but we have so many folks who just love this city. They come to the University of Northern Colorado and they stay.
Oh, that's
Nice.
neat. Yeah, so you've got a university. I
Mhm.
love university towns
Me too.
because there's just this energy, and I think that you know, when there's a focus on education, good things happen in communities, and it seems going on both your websites that education is key to your region and to the quality of life.
It definitely is, and it's what makes a town viable. When you don't have that great partnership between your city, your universities, your school districts, our community colleges that's here in town, it just makes us hum as we go along.
I like
It
that.
also helps the arts. Performing arts seem
Yes.
to always be around universities.
Yeah, you've got a lot going on in that, because the first thing I thought of was Greeley, and hearing about Rocky Mountains out there, and high prairie. So you got prairie dogs, which I love. So my first thing goes parks and everything. But going through your websites is what really amazed me was how much of the arts that you do have going on in Greeley and Weld County. It seems, and history seems to be really alive, and that's exciting to see. But so I definitely want to talk about the outdoor adventures. I know our listeners and also our magazine audience, they love parks and they love history, but the arts is interesting to me. It seems like you do a lot in regards to music. I was reading that you have, a jazz festival. I know that's, going to be passed soon, but it is isn't it one of the largest and one of its only kind jazz festivals?
Absolutely. So the UNC Jazz Festival is coming up this weekend, and it is a huge event as people flow into town. You have headliners for the students across the nation. This year we have Dee Dee Bridgewater, Gordon Goodwin's Big Fat Band, a tribute to the Becker brothers, and it's all over town. So we have a wonderful performing arts building called the Union Colony Civic Center that was designed by one of our own architects. And my favorite thing about that building was the first night that we did our big celebration, and the Philharmonic, which is the oldest Philharmonic west of the Mississippi, struck up the first notes. I saw the architect standing in the back of that wonderful theater, and just a little tear was coursing down his cheek, and I thought, now that is true love of your community, when we have our own folks designing our buildings. And that's something big that Greeley does do. So when the Jazz Festival is here, they're in the Union Colony Civic Center. They're all over town. You can find combos that will be in the various restaurants and bars. The university itself will have performances all weekend long. It's just a great time. Greeley really does have a great musical background.
Because I was looking at your blues jam. I know that's something that the chamber sponsors too, with the city of Greeley. This big blues jam, and it says, "Oh, the annual event ain't nothing but a party." I'm digging
nothing
this.
but a party. And that, this is another community-wide situation where some great friends were all sitting around one night about 10 years ago and talked about how great it would be to bring some really wonderful blues to Greeley, and we have slowly grown that so that we start on June 8th, and we have a wonderful party downtown Greeley. And Greeley's got an interesting district, is that we call it the Go Cup district. You can enjoy an adult beverage and wander around on the plaza and go from different venues to venue to listen to the different bands. And we always have a big headline band that's out on the bricks in the plaza on Friday night, and then Saturday the next day, which this year will be on the 9th of June. Then we start at 11 o'clock, and we have two stages that go nonstop with a band on the west stage, and then we go to the east stage and back to the west stage, and we just go back and forth all day long until about 10 o'clock, and we bring in some really wonderful, wonderful acts. So the whole community gets involved. We're down there with about 8,000 to 10,000 people enjoying music. We sod the whole inside of an arena that we have at a wonderful city park called Island Grove Regional Park, and you bring your lawn chairs, and there's food and beverage and great music all weekend long.
fun.
I know. I'm like, all right,
that's
Nancy, I think we have to change our summer plans here. I mean,
I think you need to be here. You just got to get
I know.
here,
I'm
right?
looking at all these events, and there's many more. The interesting thing when you talk about architecture too, and buildings, and we look at the history too. I was also on discoverweld.com. And this is what I discovered. There's the 100th anniversary of the Weld-County Courthouse. I mean, when you think about that kind of history, that's pretty amazing, Jennifer. When you think about, and there seems to be like all kinds of events going nonstop for that, looking at the courthouse and the history. Yeah.
Yeah. So our courthouse is absolutely beautiful, and that 100th anniversary was last year, and you can go and see the courthouse. You can walk in the courthouse, and if you go to the website, you can read all about the architect and the architecture and how that building came about. And it's really fascinating. And we had a great time last year celebrating that beautiful building. The whole community came out and celebrated that. This year, Weld County is actually celebrating its 100th anniversary of the Weld County Fair. So we're hitting a lot of anniversaries, and any reason to throw a party, we'll do it here. So the fair will turn 100 this year, and that's exciting. And we invite everyone to come out.
Cool, party time.
I know. That's like, this is kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Any reason or excuse for a party.
I know that should be the second slogan. I like this. You just got to get here because
because we're having a party.
I know, and there's craft breweries. The thing too about Weld County, I did not know. We do a lot in regards to wildlife conservation and talk about sanctuaries and. This is an incredible. I was on their website all morning. You have the oldest carnivore sanctuary, and it's interesting because they're kind of split where they have the sanctuary part, but this refuge, which is over 9,000 acres. And you're on their website, and you can go to wildanimalsanctuary.org. Everyone, it is mind blowing. I mean, I was on your websites, and I'm like, this area is beautiful. I mean, it's just drop dead gorgeous. And I'm looking at the refuge too, going, we need to go up there. But they have an area where people can actually visit too. Jennifer, have you been out there? Because it looks really
I have multiple times. Pat Craig, who founded that, I consider a friend, and I admire him so much for what he's done. The refuge that you're talking about is actually a new project that he's embarking on, and it's exciting. The animal sanctuary is located down in Keensburg. It's about 30 miles north of Denver. It's in the southern part of Weld County, and he does amazing work there. And the one thing I would ask your visitors and your audience to do is to go to that website and really learn about it, because the big thing is it's not a zoo. And
exactly.
It is a sanctuary, and he rescues animals from across the world, large carnivores, from neglectful and abusive situations. And he has pages and pages of the backstory on all the animals that you can visit there. And when you go there, he's built a brand new, beautiful visitor center, and you can spend the whole day there. He encourages you to spend the whole day there. And there's a little cafe. You can get something to eat. And of course, there's a little gift store, and the proceeds go to help keep that sanctuary running. There's a walkway. The interesting thing is, as he's developed this property, he has learned in the course of rescuing these animals that if you're up higher in the air, the animals don't consider the air their territory. So they're much more relaxed than they would be, say, at a zoo, where you're actually face to face with them. So he has the Mile into the Wild, and it's actually the longest elevated walkway, I believe, in the world. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. That was a couple of years ago. They achieved that. And you are able to walk at your own pace, and you can pick up a binder and learn about the animals that you're looking at and their backstory, which is incredibly touching. For a lot of these animals, they'd never even touched grass before. And he brings them in, and when you watch a lion step on natural ground for the first time, it's pretty moving. It's very moving. And so you can sit and watch the animals. There's lions, there's tigers, there's wolves, there's bears, there's panthers. He rescues all types of large carnivores, and it's an amazing thing that we have right here in Weld County, and we're so proud of the work that he does and the education that he does for the community.
I want to give everyone the website again. It's wildanimalsanctuary.org. Really impressive. Over 400 animals he's rescued, and he really goes in depth about, you know, taking these animals away from these, you know, negative experiences, these captive, you know, these animals. The illegal trafficking of wildlife is incredible. It's right there with, you know, terrorism and drugs, and he really does explain that on his website, which I love that he's done that, because people getting to understand he's doing a really good role in education, not just caring for these amazing animals. But now that walkway, I just want to say we have a movement, a campaign to get people out to take walks, and it's called 1 Hour Walk. If everyone goes to onehourwalk.com, we have a Facebook group on it, and people post their photos from getting out and taking a walk, get some fresh air. Definitely Weld County and Greeley look like you have some really good 1 hour walk destinations, but I think that one's going to take the cake, man.
Really something.
that's a good walk. It's a good walk to take.
Yeah, that's on the list for sure. So I want to go back to you, Amy. A 1 hour walk in Greeley. You've got some beautiful trails, and I think this is always, again, you know, we talked about the education aspect, but a community that has trails and parks. I think that is a big quality of life. Here in Tucson, Arizona, we have the Loop, which is this huge network of trails that they finally connected all together. And people cycle, they, you know, rollerblade, they walk, they take their kids for a walk, and it just adds to this quality of life, not just for the locals, but for the visitors. And it seems that you have a trail system like that too in Greeley.
Yes, we do. We have a beautiful set of trails. Our favorite, of course, is the one called the Poudre River Trail. It's about a 21-mile paved recreational trail, which is really nice for folks who are out on their bikes. You can be on your rollerblade. You can be walking with your dogs. You can be running, and you can start here in Greeley and go all the way west, practically to Fort Collins now. We've linked it all the way over, which is a town that is west of Greeley. We have interconnecting trails that start in our city that will move out to the Poudre Trail. So we have Sheep Straw Trail that you can get at our family funplex and follow it over to the Poudre Trail. And it is one of my favorite Sunday morning bike rides because it's an easy trail. It's not one that's going to wear somebody out or make them wish they hadn't started. They're going to enjoy the beautiful river as they go along. There are trail locators all along this trail, so it'll tell you where you are. It will give you information about what you're looking at. There's 90 acres of public recreation fishery along here. There's a Rover Run dog park that you can stop at. The bluffs rising up about 200 feet above the water that are just beautiful. We have the Frank State Wildlife Area that's right along the Weld-Larimer County lines. So the whole idea of, just to your point, getting people out, getting people to walk, enjoy nature. You'll see wild turkeys. You'll see deer along the path. It's just beautiful. It's quiet. I love it. And we have a new little system out there. We have the Poudre Learning Center, which will teach children all about how water and the lakes are such an integral part of our county. Little kids can go out to this wonderful learning center, and they'll get a vest, and in that vest is going to be little jars that catch bugs, and you'll have a magnifying glass, and you'll have a little fishing pole, and you'll see kids all along the riverbanks learning about nature from the Poudre Learning Center. It is a gem in our city. Our school districts send their classes out to learn about nature. You can go out in the evenings and watch the stars. You can have a stargaze. They'll have chuck wagon dinners all along at the area. And then again, this Poudre Trail, just beautiful. So one of the things we're so proud of in Greeley and Weld County is we want everybody outside doing things. We're not an indoor community.
I want to be a kid.
Well, yeah, I know, me too. I want to go play with bugs. Well, but that's so exciting. That's why we did the 1 hour walk thing. And part of the movement of that was when we were on the road going, we're on this quest to visit every single national park unit and connect them with their gateway communities. You guys are definitely like National Park Center, but it's also the surrounding parks and public lands because it is these trail systems when they connect together and so important for quality of life. But here's what we learned. We were on the road for 3 years full time doing this and going to parks and writing and videoing and doing all this. We did radio, we work with a lot of travel writers and we've done so many interviews, and it's really interesting, not just in some local communities, but from audience feedback, and even from people in the tourism industry, thinking that if you go to a national park, you need to be an Olympian. I know my listeners right now saying, we know. Now, they feel like you have to be an athlete. You have to be able to go backpacking for 5 days in some mountain peak somewhere in a national park. There's this sentiment, and a lot of people don't have that, but then there's a lot who do. And that's when we realized the 1 hour walk movement is so important, because it's about getting people out, like you said, an easy, flat road. And so many of our parks and trails do have wheelchair accessibility. If you're a mom and you want to push your kids in a stroller, you can. So we have these places in the country, and I just always feel that they're underpublicized, and that people need to know about them, because we'll be healthier and certainly happier, and it's a great way to get out and, experience the region. So I love the learning component you have too, and it sounds beautiful. And I know Nancy and I are just sitting here like, dude, we got to go.
I know. I'm getting excited about this.
I know. I want to go.
I feel a road trip.
I know, for sure. The other thing that really dawned on me going through your websites and is that the bird watching, and I know that's a huge deal internationally and locally, here in this country. And I know the Pawnee National Grasslands, this seems to be a major birding destination. Jennifer, Amy, either one of you can tell us about that, the grasslands?
Sure, yeah. Interestingly, Weld County, we're an ag county, right? We're the #1 agricultural county in the state. And so when people locally think of Weld County, they think of livestock and cows and all that. But what really surprises people is we have hundreds and hundreds of species of birds that either are living here or migrate through here. And we have pelicans that come up and they hang out in Windsor, which is just a few minutes north of Greeley here. But when you go out onto the Pawnee National Grasslands, you can actually take a self-guided birding tour. And they've done a great job out there with markers, and there's a map you can pick up, and you can stop at these pullouts and you can look for, there's raptors, there's burrowing owls. They live with your prairie dogs that you like so much. And there's the lark bunting, and there's birds of prey all over. And we have people come from around the world to the grasslands, which, there's in total 193,000 acres that are managed by the Forest Service. The birding tour is just one piece of that. But the thing that always amazes me is when you go out onto the grasslands, it is a short grass prairie, which means there's not a lot of trees. But you will see more birds out there than anywhere else around, and it's fascinating to watch them. And there's all kinds of birds. Plus, we have antelope and coyote and fox, and you can see all of that out there. To watch antelope race across the prairie is a sight to see as well. So the Pawnee Grasslands is a perfect place to do that.
Dude, we got to go. Not calling you ladies dudes. I'm just like, we just get excited and we become like, dude.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I love the fact that you say you got to go, because when we were explaining to our group that helped us set up this campaign, we kept saying over and over, we have a hard time describing, you just got to get here. And all of a sudden that became our tagline. So with you saying you got to go, you just have to get here. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's really true, because when I was looking on your website, and I'm sorry, we knew the name Greeley, and I think it's back in the day when we were Southwest Blend. I remember, I think it was some of your events where ended up in our calendars, or we heard the name Greeley, and then it dawned on me, oh, it's the Horace Greeley story. I mean, and so talk about the slogan of "Go West, young man, go west." I mean, so it's like, duh, it's like, so, I mean, you've got a really good founder of your community. But the other thing that it just makes me want to go is that Centennial, James Michener, Nancy and I were both saying, now we have to reread the book again, like for the third or fourth time. Yeah. So is based on your region. I mean, that's some serious history of people moving across, and it's just exciting. Let's touch on the weather, because that's something we think about. Okay, the Rocky Mountains out there, do you get like a bunch of snow in the winter? I read about 300 days of sunshine, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, like warm and nice, but do you have a lot of snow? Like, what are the times to come out?
Right. So our winters are really very mild in Greeley. I think, Jennifer, this year we had maybe 3 storms where we ended up shoveling, and that was nice for us this year. Sometimes we'll have, bigger storms, and once in a while we'll get some really fun snow. But truly, with the mountain sheltering us as the storms come over, they tend to not hit us as hard. We can get cold in January, and our summers are averaging up around the 90s if you're in July, but it's just a pleasant area that most of the time, you have a light jacket on even in the winter because it doesn't get that cold. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, lots of blue sky and bright sun and, mild temperatures. It gets a little toasty, not as toasty as you guys can get down there in the Tucson area, but it does get
like you talk about burn toast. We get a little burny here because it's like my style of cooking out here. Burn everything. No, it does get toasty.
Not quite like that, but and our falls are beautiful. Our falls are just amazing. 60s, 70s. It's beautiful. There really isn't anything to complain about when it comes to weather out here.
Wow. So it's a very outdoor community, obviously, with all these trails. I was on the website again. Everyone go to visit greeley.org and discoverweld.com. I saw a lot of sports going on, too. So it seems that that's another part. Do a lot of visitors come to Greeley, Amy, for sporting events?
We do happen to have some wonderful soccer fields and baseball fields, and we have some of the state tournaments that will come to Greeley and play in our surrounding fields. We have the state 1A baseball tournaments will come. We'll have volleyball tournaments because we are very welcoming and we're easy to work with when it comes to inviting the sporting teams to come. The University of Northern Colorado, of course, has lots of clinics during the summer for kids to come to town and learn how to play different kinds of sports. We have football, the little kids are out playing, but we do enjoy a lot of baseball and softball tournaments all through the summertime.
Now, what about meetings and that kind of thing? Do you get, do groups come in and, just as far as I'm concerned, if you're going to have a meeting or a conference, you need breakout sessions with craft beer and walking.
Exactly. So downtown Greeley just welcomed our first big convention center, which interestingly enough, another thing about Greeley is that this wasn't a venture capital group that came in to build this beautiful hotel and conference center. It was actually Greeley families who put up the money because we all agreed that we needed a wonderful conference center. So we have the new DoubleTree by Hilton at Lincoln Park that is right downtown, right across the street from Lincoln Park. And they do have great conference space. So we're bringing in more and more conferences that will come to town, walk out the door, and there is downtown Greeley with the breweries. We have 4 of them that are downtown, restaurants that are in business, and antique shops, fun shops. The park is right there, and of course the courthouse that just adds that majestic look to the whole area. So the downtown part of Greeley is very vibrant. The city is growing by leaps and bounds, so you can get out to the west or south or east or north sides of town, and you'll always find something to do. But people tend to enjoy being here. We're very welcoming. We want them here. We have signs in the windows that welcome the conferences. It will say, welcome Colorado Transit Authority or whoever happens to be coming to town for their conference. We want to make sure they know we appreciate that they're here, that we welcome them, and we'll do what we can to help plan their event.
Well, that ties in with the university too, Yeah, and talking about the downtown, I saw some of the photos on your website and some of the brick buildings, and it seems that and even speaking with you both, that your area has what we always talk about is a big factor for travel is a sense of place, and there's that balance between community and a destination. That if a community has their identity, then the visitor knows, it makes that for a really unique experience. It's what people want when they travel. It's about getting out and seeing something new, learning something new, having fun, and
Remembering it.
Yeah, it seems that you have that kind of community, not just in Greeley, but the whole county. Really having an identity of who you are and having a lot to offer. That's for sure. My gosh, I'm ready. Shopping too, and the antique shopping. That's a big deal too. Jennifer, I wanted to ask, what are the other smaller towns like? Looking at Greeley, the downtown looks so beautiful and it just like a natural setting. Are the other towns really small, or are they more agricultural communities?
They're everything. So we have some pretty small communities, especially up north where you might have a couple hundred people who live in town. We have a small community up north, a town of Nunn, and if you were to drive by it, you might not think a whole lot, but they have a fantastic museum up there called the Northern Drylanders Museum. And when you talk about a sense of community and knowing what your identity is, I think you find that throughout Weld County, no matter the size. Whether you're in Nunn with a couple hundred or you're in Greeley, it's really, if you meet a stranger here, I'd be surprised because everyone is so friendly and so willing to share their history. And in Weld County, we really value our history. And this Northern Drylanders Museum is a wonderful collection of items from the community itself, family items when people homesteaded out here. You also have some mid-sized towns such as Windsor, which is a beautiful community. They have a great lake that has a swim beach and you can paddleboard on it and watch pelicans and fish, and they have a charming downtown area. You have Fort Lupton, where we have one of our historic forts, and that's a great little community with lots of things going on there. And then you have what we call our tri-town, which is over on the other side of the county. It's on the southwest side of the county, and that's Frederick and Firestone and Dacono, and the town of Erie comes into Weld County a little bit there, and they have their own unique history that's really based on coal mining back in the day. And they've got museums and they've got charming little events. And the nice thing is all of our communities have their own unique events. So if you like music, you can go from anywhere to a big event in Greeley, or you can listen to a band play weekly in a park down in Frederick right after they're done with their farmers market. So we've really got a community to fit anybody. If you like the small town feel, we got lots of that. If you like a bigger town feel or a city feel, we have that as well, and everything that comes along with that.
Wow. And what about people moving to the county and also to Greeley? When visitors come in and they fall in love with the place, the next step is, maybe we should move there. Is there room for people to move in? Is that something that the county is welcoming, and the residents want that to happen?
So I think for the growth, one of the things that Greeley and Weld County pride themselves on is thoughtful growth. So we recognize the fact that our location is very appealing to families, to retirees, to, folks who want to maybe not be in a big city but still have some of those amenities. So yes, very welcoming. We have a wonderful relocation group. We have different ways of getting folks together so they can learn about the city, learn about different places that they can move. Our builders are open for any type of building that you can do. I know Windsor is, Jennifer, what do you think? Windsor is on fire building all kinds of new homes.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of growth throughout the county, and I think part of that has to do with our cost of living is lower here, even lower than just across Interstate 25, which is, 15 miles to the west. Overall, Weld County itself doesn't have a sales tax, and we have one of the lowest mill levies in the state, which may sound a little boring, but what it means is your money goes farther here in Weld County because we don't have those extra taxes. So, and also county government and a lot of our municipalities are very fiscally responsible. Weld County has been debt-free since 2007, and I know a lot of our municipalities are too. And what that means for people wanting to move here is that you have solid government who understands the value of taxpayer dollars, who budgets just like you do as a family, and we encourage people to come and enjoy being here. And there's lots of people coming, so come join us.
What about lodging?
There's a party going on.
Yeah,
There's a party going on.
Yeah, we like that. What about for travelers? What kind of hotel lodging amenities do you have?
Yeah.
So the whole area has, from our convention center to name brand hotels to lovely bed and breakfast to Airbnb it's funny, but it is in Greeley.
Yeah.
We have the kind of place that you're going to want to stay. We will offer lodging grids so you can take a look at all different kinds. We'll let you know if it's pet friendly, where the locations are, anything that you need. We're going to be a great place for you to land. It will be price conscious for you, if you can use that term. And back to Jennifer's point, your money will go further here. So absolutely, when you come into town.
That.
Yes.
We like the dollar to stretch.
Yeah.
As wide as weld-county. Stretch
we
it
are
between
big.
Rocky National Park and the pawnee-grasslands, Stretch it. We like that. No, well, I think that's especially for families. And, now our world has changed so much, and so many people are doing small businesses and home-based businesses, or they can contract and work from home. So that's the other thing, too. And when I was looking at the downtown district for Greeley, it looks like you really have embraced the small-town America as well, in that small businesses. And I'm not saying you're a small town, but it has that feeling of small-town America. Would you say that, Amy, for Greeley?
Absolutely, and I think we're proud of that we have big city amenities, but we have that small town feel where you are welcomed. You'll have different things to shop for. We'll have the big box stores out on the west side of town, but when you're downtown and along the edges, you'll find wonderful, wonderful shops and friendly people, and they're thrilled when you come in the door, and they will tell you their stories, so you'll learn about why that particular store is open, or why a restaurant is still using the same family recipes that somebody brought from Italy or somebody brought over from Mexico or from wherever they're at. We have that thread going through the whole city. We're so proud of this town. The city founding fathers knew what they were doing. We continue the traditions of welcoming and wanting people to be here and to enjoy us. To come visit our museums so that you can see our history. We have so many different things for people to do, and it does bring them in, and people do want to stay here.
Excellent. And also, before you ladies go, the art side of it, I know we've talked about music and fairs, agriculture and farmers markets, and, so again, this is party time. But you also have, you say, for almost 40 years, the Arts Picnic. Now, that's one of our favorite things, is there's picnics and art put together. This sounds good to me. So this is July 28th through 29th, 2018. Yeah. So do you have a lot of artists that live in the area locally?
We do. In fact, we're a creative district. So we have a great deal of artists, and it's musicians, painters, any performance art. We're one of the few creative districts in Colorado, and our Arts Picnic, which is a downtown in Lincoln Park, every year is just chock full of booths of people selling all their different wares. We have a stage where you have the bands or the groups that can play, the children's areas where they'll have their faces painted, and it is just a celebration for 2 days, and you will know everybody when you walk downtown. If you live here, and by the time you leave, you'll have met everybody anyway. People are friendly. They want you here. Great weekend in Greeley.
You just got to get here. That's the slogan, and they mean it.
We
want to go. We want to get up there. That's for sure. I'm so excited to learn more. Nancy, I think we're going to have to do an extra road trip here.
I
think you do.
Detour.
Knew it.
Detour to Greeley. I like that.
Maybe we'll put that on as a tagline.
Yeah, we need a detour. Yeah, a detour to the craft brewery.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for joining us. We're very excited to learn about your region, and definitely we got to put this on our list to be sooner than later. And everyone, again, the websites, visit greeley.org and also discoverweld.com. Both websites have a plethora of information. You'll see photos and great video too. I love your video on Greeley. I was like, oh, that is, makes you feel warm and want to go, So check that out, everybody. I want to thank our sponsor, which is the National Parks Arts Foundation. They create unique artist in residence programs in parks within the National Park Service and other state parks and all kinds of entities. So it's a really unique program, whether you're an artist, a musician, a poet, a dancer, a filmmaker. Check them out at nationalparksartsfoundation.org. Big Blend Radio airs Sunday through Friday, and Monday through Thursday we're live at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Fridays and Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to close with a song called Travel Song, because you just got to get there to Greeley and to Weld County. This is from Misha Shellhoff. He's an incredible guitarist, and it's off of his album Double Take, and you can go to mishamusic.com and check that out. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
You bet. We hope you get here soon.
We will. We will. We want to come play with your pelicans and prairie dogs.
That's right.
And there you go. We'll have them for you, along with the craft beer.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Here it is, everybody. Travel Song.